what is called restoring force developed in an elastic spring. Very simple to understand. Look here. Consider one horizontal frictionless surface over which we have one elastic spring obeying Hooke's law. Okay? One end of the spring is tied with a rigid support, some wall you can consider, and another end, which is free end of the spring, is tied with another block. This end cannot move, it is fixed, and this end is movable, okay? Now, initially this block is at rest. Its rest position is also called sometimes equilibrium position. Let it be at origin, so I am putting x coordinate x1 equals to 0. Fine. What I am doing now, I just hold the block, I exert some force from outside, that is external force, towards right hand side, and thereby I just pull this whole spring this way towards right hand side. When I pull the block towards right hand side, spring is getting elongated, it is getting stretched, then length will increase. There is some increase in the length of the spring, say by amount x. I just pull this block towards right hand side, I bring it from here to here. Earlier position was x1 equal to 0, now the position is come on x2 equals to x. So elongation produced in the elastic spring is supposed by amount x. See, number of turns will remain same, number of turns will remain same, because spring is same. Spring is same. Only the distance between two consecutive turns that would increase. Look, what was the number of turns here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Correct? Distance between two consecutive turns would increase because we are stretching the spring. That's why. Fine. Now do one thing. You just leave the block. Okay? Release it. Leave the block. What happens? This block rushes back towards the equilibrium position. Correct? So at that time, why block is moving towards left side? Because some force must be exerted on the block. Actually that force is produced inside the spring. Force is produced inside the spring because of its elasticity property. Because of its and because of that force, what happens? The spring can restore its original condition. Spring can restore its original condition. A force with the help of which body can restore its original condition is only known as restoring force. We find that magnitudes of external and restoring force are equal. Magnitudes of external and restoring force are equal. And directions are opposite. Directions are opposite. What is the direction of external force at present? Towards the right hand side. What is the direction of restoring force? Towards left hand side. Correct? External force and restoring force are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction. Equal in magnitude, opposite in direction. Okay? When displacement is away from equilibrium position, this restoring force is pointing towards equilibrium position. So restoring force is opposite to displacement and directly proportional to the magnitude of displacement. So combining both the facts, we write mathematically F varies as minus x. F varies as minus x. Magnitude of restoring force is directly proportional to magnitude of displacement, and direction of restoring force is opposite to direction of displacement. Fine. Remove sign of proportionality, put some proportionality constant, say small k, where small k is called force constant or spring constant of given elastic spring. Force constant or spring constant of given elastic spring. This name is more famous. Which one? Force constant. In textbook they have not written that force constant depends on which factors. I am showing you. Look. Consider a spring like this. Consider spring like this. Correct? And this is the original length. This is the original length. Let it be capital L. Okay? That is the length of the spring in the normal condition. Normal condition means without expansion, without compression. Without expansion, without compression. Now spring constant or force constant, it depends on four factors. Look, which four factors? It depends on original length. Correct? It also depends on radius of wire, radius of cross section of wire which is used in making the spring. It depends on radius of cross section of wire which is used in making the spring. It also depends on radius of circular turn, say capital R. This is circular turn, you know. This is circular turn. Correct? So this much is radius. Radius of circular turn. And that radius of circular turn we just show it by symbol capital R. Fine. It also depends on type of material of the wire which is determined by modulus of rigidity. Modulus of rigidity, about which we will study in the later chapter. But in all, it depends on four factors. Which four factors? Original length, radius of cross section of wire, radius of circular turn of the spring, and it also depends on type of material of spring. Type of material of spring. Correct? On which this modulus of rigidity depends. Okay? Fine. For a given spring, value of K is constant. For a given spring, value of K is constant. For different springs, it might be different, but for a given spring, its value is constant. Fine. What about unit of K? Unit of K will be, come on, force upon length. Force upon length. Unit of force, Newton. Unit of length, meter. Newton upon meter. Say, in CGS, dyne upon centimeter. Dyne upon centimeter. Newton upon meter in SI unit or in MCAS unit, and in CGS, dyne upon centimeter. Simple. What about dimensional formula? Force upon length. For force, m raised to 1, l raised to 1, t raised to minus 2. For length, l raised to 1. So altogether, m raised to 1, l raised to 0, t raised to minus 2. Fine. Now let us find out work done by external force. Suppose we exert external force on this block towards right hand side and we displace it from this initial position to this final position. Till then, how much is the amount of work done by external force? Let us find out. You know work done by variable force. In one dimension it is given by this formula, integration f dx from x1 to x2. Instead of f, I am just putting f dash. F is a symbol for restoring force, f dash symbol I am taking for external force. Now magnitudes of external force and restoring force, they are equal. So what is the magnitude of this? Come on, when you take magnitude, instead of minus you should take plus. So plus kx. Come on, f dash equals to plus kx dx. Because k is constant, can be taken out. Integration x dx. Everybody, integration from x1 to x2. What was the formula of integration? X raised to n dx. X raised to n plus 1 upon. Similarly here, x raised to 1 plus 1 upon 1 plus 1. X raised to 1 plus 1 means what? X raised to 2 upon 1 plus 1 means 2. From x1 to x2. From x1 to x2. K as it is. Instead of x, I am supposed to put the upper limit. So I should write here x2 square upon 2. After putting minus sign, instead of x, I should write lower limit, that is x1, x1 square upon 2. 1 by 2, 1 by 2. Can I take common? Then k. Then come on, x2 square minus x1 square. Come on, 1 by 2k x2 square minus x1 square. This is the general formula. In textbook they are given specific case. That specific case is this: x1 equals to 0, x2 equals to x. Come on, if x1 equals to 0 and x2 equals to x, then put it here: x1 equal to 0, x2 equals to x. So it is w equals to 1 by 2k x square. Everybody, w equals to
1 by 2k x square.
Did I tell you? In physics, remember, as much work is to be done, that much energy is to be spent. As much work is to be done, that much energy is to be spent. So when we spend this much energy, that energy spent by us is now getting stored in this stretched elastic spring in the form of elastic potential energy. Say
elastic potential
energy should be symbol capital U. So this work done results into increase in elastic potential energy by amount U. So U equals to half k x square. U equals to
half k x square.
Fine. If you plot a graph of magnitude of external force versus displacement, then graph is this. It is a straight line graph passing through origin. This much displacement I am taking as x, and corresponding value of external force, it is k into x. K into x. What is magnitude of external force? Come on, force constant into displacement. Force constant into force constant is k, and this much displacement I am taking x. And now let us find out area of triangle OAB. Area of triangle OAB. Arey Baba, area of a triangle, half base into height. Half. What is his base? OB. What is his height? AB. But value of OB is how much? X. Value of AB is kx. So 1 by 2 k x into x, x square. So you can see work done is also half kx square, and area enclosed under the graph of f versus x is also half kx square. Because we know whenever you require work done by force, then what you should do? You should find out the area enclosed under the graph of f versus x. Area enclosed under the graph of f versus x will give you amount of work done. Fine. Let us obtain one very important result for conservative force. Very simple. Do you know work energy theorem? Last time we had obtained W equals to delta K. W equals to
delta K.
If this is the work done by constant force, say F, then work done by constant force is force into displacement. Force into
displacement.
And instead of delta K, you may write minus delta U. Delta K equals to
minus delta U.
Why? You know law of conservation of mechanical energy. Law of conservation of
mechanical energy.
Then E equals to K plus U equals to constant. Then take delta on both the sides. So here it will be delta E, here it is delta K, and here it is delta U. Once you say that mechanical energy of mechanically isolated system remains constant, then change in constant quantity would be 0. Change in constant quantity would be
0.
When E is constant, naturally delta E will be 0. Find out delta K from here, transfer this. So delta K equals to minus delta U. Delta K equals to delta K equals to
minus delta U.
Find out F. Transfer this delta x in the denominator. So minus delta U upon delta x. Come on, F equals to minus delta U upon delta x. Suppose you take the displacement of the body extremely small, say infinitesimally small, then you may write minus as it is, delta U upon delta x as it is, but because differential displacement we are taking right now, then we write limit delta x tends to 0. Limit delta
X tends
in the limit delta x tends to 0, what will the value of this right hand side? Let us find out. Come on, minus sign as it is. In the language of calculus, whenever delta x tends to 0, we don't write delta x, we write dx. We write
dx.
At that time, extremely small change in potential we write by symbol du. By symbol
du.
So all together F equals to minus du by dx. F equals to
minus du by dx.
Conservative force is always equal to negative value of derivative of potential energy. Derivative of
Potential.
with respect to position of the body. With respect to
Position of the body.
or you may say conservative force is equal to negative value of rate of change of potential with respect to position of the body. With respect to negative value of rate of change of potential of a body with respect to position of the body. That gives you, come on, conservative force. Let us prove it. Come on, for example, Suppose I want to find out minus du by dx. Say minus.
du by dx.
So it is minus d by dx of u. Come on, minus d by dx of u. Minus d by dx as it is. What about u? U just now we obtained, it is half k x square. Half k
X square.
formula of elastic potential is half k x square, because 1 by 2k is constant taken out. Now d by dx of x square. D by dx of
X square.
derivative of x square with respect to x. What is it? 2x.
Yes.
Now 2 will cancel. 2 will. So giving you minus kx. Come on, minus.
Yes.
What was minus kx? It was restoring force. It was. So minus kx can be replaced by f. So this minus kx is replaced by f. And what is f? Come on. Restoring force, say any force which satisfies this condition is said to be conservative. Said to be
Conservative.
So it is proved that restoring force developed in elastic spring must be conservative. Must be
Conservative.
That's what I written here. Restoring force produced in the elastic spring is conservative. It is proved. Okay. Read now statement of sum number 9. 8. Sum. Look, we have one elastic spring which is held vertically, correct? Between two plates, it is held vertically. It is under equilibrium at present. Now a block which is at height 20 centimeter, 20 upon 100, 0.2 meter, as for height, is located above this plate by 20 centimeter height. Okay. What we do now? We just release this block. We leave it. So block will start falling freely. Okay. And it will strike this pen. When it strikes this pen, what will happen? It will compress the elastic spring. Okay. Suppose maximum compression is this much. Then for a moment, this block will come to rest at this level. Okay? Till then, what has happened? There is a decrement in the gravitational potential energy of the block, and there is increment in the elastic potential energy of the spring. Same thing I written here. Decrease in, come on, gravitational potential energy of block. And here it is increase in, come on, elastic potential energy of the spring, Simple. What is decrease in gravitational potential energy? Gravitational potential energy given by formula mgy. Say mg into y. What is y? Height of a body from reference level. Okay. Now, earlier height of this block from this reference level, it was this much, h plus x. Come on, h plus x. So instead of y, I am just writing h plus x. That is decrease in the height of the block. And that equals to elastic potential energy. Come on. Elastic potential is given by formula half kx square. Come on, half kx square. Now it is a matter of only simplification. Mass of the block you are given 1 kg. G value 10 meter per second square. H height is 20 centimeter, 20 upon 100, 0.2 meter, plus x 1 by 2. What is force constant of the elastic spring? You are given 600 Newton upon meter, x square as it is. Simplify. 10 into 0.2, it is 2. 10 into x, 10x. 600 upon 2, 300 into x square. Divide each term by 2. When you divide by 2, here it is 1. Divide by 2, common fatafat, 5x. Divide by 2, 150 x square. Transfer this both the terms towards right hand side. Towards 150 x square minus 5x minus 1 equals to 0. Compare this quadratic equation with the standard format which you know here. Ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. Find out delta. What is delta? B square minus 4ac. What is b value, everybody? Minus 5. 4 into a is how much? 150. C is how much? Minus 1. Come on, b is minus 5. A is 150. C is minus 1. Minus 5 square will be plus 25. Minus minus plus. 150 into 4, that is 600. Plus 25, so it is 625. 600. Take square root on both the sides. Square root of this will be under root delta. Square root of this will be 25. What are the two roots of this quadratic equation? X equals to, two roots are there. Come on, minus b plus or minus root delta upon 2a. Minus b plus or minus? Minus. What is the value of b? What is the value of b? Minus 1. b is plus or minus root delta. Root delta is 25 upon 2 into a. A is how much? 150. A is how much? 150. Now minus minus plus. So that is 5 plus or minus 25 upon 150 into 2, that is 300. Now divide separately. Separate the denominator. This upon this plus or minus this upon this. This upon this, answer is 0.0167, and plus or minus, come on, this upon this, answer is 0.0833. Okay, and because we had taken this in meter, this in meter, then final answer is also in terms of meter. Wait, this is plus or minus. But if you want now maximum compression in the elastic spring, then you should go for finding maximum value of x. So out of x, if you want x maximum, then out of this plus and minus, because you want maximum value, you should go for addition. You should go for addition. Come on, 0.0167 plus 0.0833, that comes out to be 0.1 meter. Say 0.1 meter. This answer is quite adequate. But if you want the answer in centimeter, you know 1 meter is 100 centimeter. Multiply this by 100, so it will be 10 centimeter. Say 10 centimeter. Right? Next. Look now. What do you mean by power? Here I mean to say mechanical power. I mean to say mechanical power. You will study about electric power in third semester. Right now we are talking about mechanical power. Okay? But we will not write the word mechanical, we will write only power. But we should understand mechanical power. See, in practice, of course, it is very important how much maximum work we can do. How much maximum work we can get it done. That is definitely important. But you know what is more important? How much fast we can get it done. How much fast we can get it done. That is more important. That is more important. So in practice, we have defined a physical quantity whereby we can have measure of time rate of work being done. Time rate of work being done. And that very physical quantity is only known as power. Is only known as power. Look, on this time scale, between these two instants, come on, t and t plus delta t. Between t and t plus delta. What is the time interval? Delta t. In this much time interval, suppose amount of work done is delta w. Then when you divide total amount of work done by total time, you are going to get work done per unit time. Work done per unit time. It is defined as average power. It is defined as average power. And if you want instantaneous power at this instant, then you should take the same ratio. But in this ratio, you should take this limit delta t tends to 0, limit, and then it will give you instantaneous power at time t. And in the language of calculus, this whole term can be written as, come on everybody, dw by dt. Everybody, dw by dt. Time rate at which work is being done. Time rate at which work is being done is known as power. Is known as power. See, if you say only power, you mean to say instantaneous power. Only power means instantaneous. Only power means instantaneous. Only velocity means instantaneous velocity, like that. Okay? And now come on, separate it. d by dt of w. d by dt. And then d by dt as it is. What about work done by constant force? Then it is dot product between force and displacement. And because force is constant, then you can take it out. Vector f dot, this much part if you take out, the left is vector dr by dt. Everybody, vector. Come on, vector. Vector f as it is, dot as it is. What is vector dr by dt? Vector dr by dt is nothing but instantaneous velocity of the body. And any physical quantity which is obtained out of a dot product must be scalar. Must be scalar. So power is a scalar physical quantity. Power is a scalar. And further you may expand. Come on. Vector f dot vector v means what? Fv cos theta. Fv cos theta. Fv cos theta. That theta will be angle between force and velocity. Angle between force and velocity. Okay. What about unit of power? You want unit of power? It is unit of work upon unit of time. Unit of work is joule, unit of time is second. Joule upon second is replaced by watt in the memory of scientist Mr. James Watt, who had discovered, who had prepared first steam engine. Correct? Come on. Then in his memory we have given the unit watt, W a double T shown by symbol capital W. Watt means joule upon second. Watt means 1 kilowatt is, come on, 1000 watt. 1 megawatt or 1 million volt, it is 10 raised to 6 watt. 10 raised to 6 watt. We define one new unit of energy. It is kilowatt hour. It is kilowatt hour. If power equal to 1 kilowatt, that is 1000 watt power is spent in 1 hour. 1000 watt power is spent in 1 hour. Then amount of energy spent is said to be 1 kilowatt hour. Amount of energy spent is said to be 1 kilowatt hour. How? I am showing you. Look, kilowatt. Kilo means itself 10 raised to 3. Kilo itself means this watt as it is. 1 hour is how many seconds? 3600 seconds. So this is 3.6 into 10 raised to 3 into 10 raised to 3, altogether 10 raised to 6. So this is 3.6 into 10 raised to 6 and watt into second. Everybody, watt into? Come on, transfer this. Watt into second will be how much? Joule. Watt into second will be? So this watt into second can be replaced by joule. And joule is the unit of energy. So remember, kilowatt hour is not the unit of power, it is unit of energy. It is unit of energy. Only kilowatt. Only kilowatt is the unit of power. But it is not only kilowatt, it is power into time. Power into and power into time will give you work done or amount of energy. Work done or amount of energy. And specifically this unit is used while calculating the bill amount in electrical consumption. There we use 1 unit of electrical energy. 1 unit of electrical energy means exactly this many joule. This many joule. So 1 unit of electrical energy means this many joule, or it is called 1 kilowatt hour. It is called 1 kilowatt hour. Okay. In the empire of British people, in the British Empire, we had the unit of power as horsepower. As 1 horsepower. 1 horsepower. British people, you know, they were like horses only. They were like horses only. So 1 horsepower. 1 horsepower. It is 745.7. That many watt. That many watt. But 745.7 is nearly 746. Nearly 746. This many. Okay. Read number 9 now. Radial or centripetal acceleration they have given as k into t square. K into t square. What does it mean? K into t square means what? Take a stone, tie it up with a string. Another end of the string you just keep in your hand and you give it. That stone, you just give circular motion. Give it circular motion. Then tell me, the radial or centripetal acceleration, it will keep on increasing. Keep on increasing. Because once you start revolving it, as the time passes on, come on, as the time passes, then T will increase. As T will increase, come on, centripetal acceleration will increase. How centripetal acceleration will increase? Provided you are increasing centripetal force. Look here. Correct? This way. Then you are increasing the force. And because you are increasing centripetal force, centripetal acceleration will also increase. Why it increases? Because it is given to us that it is directly proportional to square of time. Directly proportional to square of time. Correct? Now tell me. Formula of here is how much? V square upon R. Say centripetal acceleration is given by formula V square upon R. This right hand side as it is. Transfer this R here. Okay? Fine. Take d by dt on both the sides. D by dt on both the sides. Here k and R, they are constants. Okay? D by dt of t square. Come on, d by dt of t square. This inside the bracket This term is a function of velocity, function of. You want to have differentiation with respect to time. No, you cannot take directly. Apply chain rule. Apply chain rule. First of all, you should differentiate this function with respect to velocity, and then separately you should differentiate velocity with respect to time. Mathematically, we are not changing anything, because if you cancel dv, look here, dv and dv, if you cancel, the left is d by dt, left is, here it is. Correct? Fine. So this splitting is known as chain rule. What is it called?
Chain rule.
And here k into r as it is, d by dt of t square. D by dt, how much it is? 2t. Say,
2t.
Power will become multiplier into t raised to 2 minus 1. T raised to 2 minus 1, that is 1. T raised to 1, that is t. Fine. Now d by dv of this square. D by dv of this square is how much? 2v. Say,
2v.
Time rate of change of velocity. Time rate of change of velocity will give you acceleration. Will give you acceleration. But why I am writing here at? Tangential acceleration. Say, what is this velocity? Tangential velocity. Say, and moreover, tell me, there are two components of acceleration. One is radial, one is tangential. One is radial. What is the job of radial acceleration? To change the direction of velocity. To change the direction. And what is the job of tangential component? To change the magnitude. To change the. So right now this is magnitude. Correct? Time rate of change of magnitude of velocity will give you tangential acceleration. Will give you. And this kr as it is, 2t as it is. Now 2 and 2 will cancel. V as it is, at as it is, then krt. Look here, krt. So what I have done, I have multiplied by m on both the sides. On both the sides I multiply by m. Mass into acceleration will give you force. Will give you force. But mass into tangential acceleration will give you tangential force. Will give you. So this I replace by ft. This m, kt are as it is. But now tell me, expand this. When you expand this, what is it? Fv cos theta. Everybody?
Fv cos theta.
Fv cos theta. Why theta is 0? This force right now, it is tangential force. It is, and velocity is also along tangent. Velocity and force, both of them are along tangent. Both of them are in the same direction, and the angle between two vectors having same direction must be 0 degree. So cos 0 is 1. So speak now. Ft into v. Say, can be replaced by power p. Come on, Ft into v. Come on, Ft into v can be replaced by power p. So this is nothing but power. So it is mktr. Say mktr. So this is the formula of power in terms of time. In terms of time. Okay. Similar example I am going to ask next time. Okay, similar example. One example I will be asking from this formula. I will give you these three values. 1, 2, 3 values I will give you. I will find out, I will ask to find out amount of work done or amount of elastic potential in the store. Okay. Next. Number 10 we will do next time. Is based upon collision. You read number 11 now. Number 11. We have one semicircular hollow pipe. Semicircular hollow pipe. That pipe is like this. It is kept on a horizontal surface in a vertical plane. In a vertical plane. We have one spherical bob, one spherical body, whose external diameter is just slightly less than inner diameter of the pipe, so that when you place it here, it can roll inside. Correct? It will move from here to here. And by the time it comes from A to B, they have said its velocity becomes 0. So here body comes to rest for a moment. Okay. This or this or this will give you radius. So this much is radius. Radius of semicircle. Let it be r. It is also height of point A from this reference level. Okay. It is equal to radius. Radius you are given 1 meter. For point B, they have given this angle, look, pi by 3. How much? Pi by 3. If I want OB dash, this distance if I want, I should draw one perpendicular. Correct? This radius is R. This radius is R. Component of R adjacent to pi by 3. Component of R. Component of R. What is it? R cos pi by 3. R cos pi by 3. It will give you this much distance from O to B dash. From O to B dash. R as it is. What is cos pi by 3? 1 by 2. Cos pi by 3 is 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 into R, that is R by 2. Fine. Now let me find out this height. Height of point B from this reference level, let it be YB, and this much height will be what? Look, this minus OB dash. Come on, this minus OB dash. This means what? It is R. It is R. Minus OB dash. OB dash is R by 2. R minus R by 2, that is R by 2. But radius you are given 1 meter, so it is 1 by 2 meter. 1 by 2 meter. Now for journey of the sphere from A to B, from A to B, you can write UA equals to UB plus WR. UA equals to UB plus WR. How? This is gravitational potentiality at point A. What is this? What is WR? Work done against resistive force. Against resistive force. R means what? Resistive force. Wait. Work done against resistive force. For example, look here. Suppose here gravitational potentiality at this much height is, suppose, we don't know, suppose it is 75 units. How much? 75 units. Right? And when the body comes here, the gravitational potentiality is suppose 25. Is suppose 25. Here it was 75. Here it is 25. The question is 75 minus 25. There is 50 units of energy has gone where? That energy is spent against work done. That energy is spent for doing work, against the frictional force, against the, or you can say against the resistive force, against the, this wall, inner walls of this tube provides, come on, resistive force to the motion of this body, and in doing work against that force, that much 50 amounts of energy has been utilized. Okay, so you can write here, see this way, look, 75 equals to 25 plus 50. 75 equals to 25 like that. According to law of conservation of energy, come on, potentiality at point A is equal to potentiality at point B plus work done against resistive force. Simple. What is gravitational potentiality formula? U equals to mgy. U equals to mg. For point A, I am writing height as ya. For point B, come on, similarly mg to yb. What is work done? If resistive force they are given as constant in the statement, they are given resistive force is constant. What is work done by constant force? Force into displacement. Say R is what? Look here, resistive force. So force into displacement. And actually they should have taken displacement from here to here, but in textbook, you know, they have taken this path length. They have taken this path length, and this path length from here to here, it is actually arc AB. Say arc AB. Say arc AB. Come on, don't you know? Angle equals to arc upon radius. Angle equals to arc upon radius. Angle equals to arc upon radius. For this much arc, corresponding angle is this. Correct? And how to get this angle I am showing you. If this is pi by 3, this has to be pi by 6. This has to be pi by 6. Because addition of these two is pi by 2. Correct? So if this is pi by 3, come on, this must be? Must be? Pi by 6. Take interest and reply. This must be? Pi by 6. But now I want this angle. Correct? So it is this angle total. which is pi, which is out of pi I should subtract this much. Correct? So out of pi I should subtract this much. Pi minus pi by 6. Everybody. Pi minus pi by 6 is what here? 5 pi by 6. Say. So angle corresponding to this much arc is 5 pi by 6. So angle is 5 pi by 6. Come on, angle is 5 by 6. Arc AB I want and radius is R. Radius is R. Find out arc AB. Come on everybody. Radius into angle. Say. Radius is R and angle as I said it is 5 pi by 6. Come on, arc AB. Everybody, arc is equal to radius into angle. Radius into angle. Force into actually I should have written here displacement. In textbook they have gone for path length. So let me write down that path length. It is arc AB and arc equals to radius into angle. Radius is R, angle is 5 pi by 6. Now transfer this part. So mg you can take common. Inside bracket YA minus YB equals to R into 5 pi R by 6. Everybody? 5 pi R by 6. Put the values. Mass of the spherical body 0.314 kilogram. Value of G, gravitational acceleration 10 meter per second square. What about height of point A? 1 meter. How? YA equals to R. R equals to 1 meter. And what about YB? YB we obtain, come on, 1 by 2 meter. YB is 1 by 2 meter. R as it is 5 into pi value is 3.14. Radius is 1 meter divided by 6. Find out capital R. It is a force. And value comes out to be 0.6. Because it is a force, I should write the unit Newton. 0.6 Newton. And now find out this WR. Okay? Simply transfer this. That's all. WR is equal to, come on, UA minus UB. UA minus UB. UA formula MGYA. UB formula MGYB. MG, come on. Inside the bracket YA minus YB. M is 0.314 kilogram. G is 10 meter per second square. YA is 1 meter. YB is 1 by 2 meter. This answer is 1.57. Unit of work is joule. Unit of work is joule. Okay. Write all the symbols and everything, and nothing should be left out. All this, whatever I have displayed on the board must be there in your notes.
Whenever any body collides with any another body, the collision may be elastic, may be partially elastic, may be inelastic. So there are three types of collision. Elastic collision, we need to say perfectly elastic, then partially elastic, and then perfectly inelastic. Okay? For all the collisions, remember, total momentum and total energy remain conserved. So for any type of collision, total momentum remains constant, total energy also remains constant. But then, in case of elastic collision, remember, it is kinetic energy which also remains constant. A collision in which kinetic energy remains constant is known as an elastic collision. That is perfect elastic collision. Okay? Let us discuss first of all elastic collision between two bodies in one dimension. Consider two bodies with masses, look here, m1 and m2 moving say along positive x-axis respectively with velocities v1 and v2. Here first body is chasing, second body is going ahead. Now we assume that v1 is greater than v2. v1 is greater than v2. Then only this body will collide with this body. Suppose this body collides with this body, and suppose that collision is look here, elastic collision. After collision, the final velocity of first body I am taking v1 dash, and final velocity of second body I am taking v2 dash. Fine. Apply now law of conservation of linear momentum. Total initial momentum should be equal to total final momentum. Momentum is what? Mass into velocity. For first body, come on, m1 v1 plus for second body m2 v2. Without dash means initial momentum, and now with dash means final momentum. So in final condition, m1 v1 dash plus m2 v2 dash. m1 v1 dash plus m2 v2 dash. Come on, give it equation number 1. Now transfer this part here and transfer this part over there. Come on, m1 taken common, inside bracket v1 minus v1 dash. v1 minus v1 dash. When you transfer this part over here, and if you take m2 common, then inside the bracket v2 dash minus v2, v2 dash minus v2. Give it equation number 2. And now, you know, for elastic collision, kinetic energy also remains constant. What do you mean by kinetic energy? Half mv square. Half mv square. Take that term for first body and for second body. Initially also, finally also. Come on. Initial kinetic energy of first body is half m1 v1 square. For second body, half m2 v2 square. In the final condition, come on. Final kinetic energy of first body, half m1 v1 dash square. Final kinetic energy of second body, half m2 v2 dash square. Okay. Sit. Cancel 1 by 2. Throughout the equation, we can cancel 1 by 2. Okay. And now transfer this part over here. So m1 taken common, inside the bracket v1 square minus v1 dash square. Transfer this part over there. So m2 if I take common, then v2 dash square minus v2 square. Give it equation number 3. And now we should take common ratio of equation 3 to equation 2. Come on, this upon this. Everybody, this upon this is equal to this upon this. But when we take this upon this, m1 will cancel. Factorize this. Factorize this. If you have a square minus b square, then factors are a plus b into a minus b. A plus b into a minus b. Similarly here, v1 square minus v1 dash square, it will be v1 plus v1 dash into v1 minus v1 dash. That v1 minus v1 dash and this v1 minus v1 dash will cancel. Left is v1 plus v1 dash. Similarly, when you take this ratio of right hand sides, this upon this, m2 will cancel. Come on, v2 dash square minus v2 square. If you factorize, then v2 dash plus v2 into v2 dash minus v2. That v2 dash minus v2 and this v2 dash minus v2 will get cancelled. Will get cancelled. Left from here it is v2 dash plus v2. Give it equation number 4. Now just find out v2 dash. Transfer this. So v2 dash will be, come on, v1 plus v1 dash minus v2. v1 plus v1 dash minus v2. Substitute value of v2 dash from equation 5 into equation 1 over here. Come on, m1 v1 plus m2 v2. Everybody, m1 v1 plus m2 v2. That equals to m1 v1 dash. m1 v1 dash plus m2 into v2 dash. m2 into v2 dash. m2 into v2 dash. v2 dash is v1 plus v1 dash minus v2. v1 plus v1 dash minus v2. Fine. And now m1 v1 plus m2 v2 as it is. m1 v1 dash as it is. Come on, multiply. Inside you can multiply, open the bracket. m2 v1. Everybody. m2 v1 plus m2 v1 dash plus m2 v1 dash minus m2 v2 minus m2 v2. Okay. And now this part you can just transfer over here. Correct? Then v1 you can take common. So m1 minus m2. Say m1 minus into v1 into v1. And if you transfer this part over here, then m2 v2 plus m2 v2 altogether it is 2 m2 v2. Say 2 m2 v2. And now from these two terms, if you take v1 dash common, inside the bracket it is m1 plus m2, m1 plus m2 into v1 dash. I want only v1 dash, so divide each term by m1 plus m2. Divide each term by m1 plus m2. Come on, divide here. Divide here. So come on, m1 minus m2 upon m1 minus m2 upon into v1. Divide this term by m1 plus m2, so you get 2 m2 upon m1 plus m2. 2 m2 upon m1 plus m2 into v2 into v2. And then you divide by m1 plus m2. Here left is only v1 dash. Only v1 dash. So this gives you formula for finding final velocity of first body. Final velocity of first body. Final velocity of first body. Come on, give it equation number 6. And now from equation number 4, find out v1 dash. From equation 4, if you find out v1 dash, transfer this. So it is v2 dash plus v2 minus v2. Come on, v2 dash plus v2. Give it equation number 7. put the value of V1 dash from equation 7 into equation number 1. So from 1 and 7, come on, M1 V1 plus M2 V2. Everybody.
M1 V1 plus M2 V2.
That equals to M1 into V1 dash. M1 into
V1 dash.
V1 dash is how much? V2 dash plus V2 minus V1. V2 dash plus V2
minus V1.
and plus M2 V2 dash. Come on, plus
M2 V2 dash.
Fine. M1 V1 plus M2 V2 as it is. Open the bracket here. M1 V2 dash. Everybody.
M1 V2 dash.
Plus M1 V2 plus
M1 V2
minus M1 V1 minus
M1 V1
plus M2 V2 dash plus
M2 V2 dash.
Fine. And now transfer this part over here. From minus it will become plus. M1 V1 plus M1 V1 totally
2 M1 V1.
And if you transfer this part over here, correct? Then if you take V2 common, inside the bracket it is M2 minus M1. Everybody, M2
Minus M1.
into V2, correct? And now from these two terms, you can take V2 dash common. Inside the bracket it will be M1 plus M2. M1
Plus M2.
into V2 dash. Now divide each term by M1 plus M2. Divide each term by
M1 plus M2.
Divide by M1 plus M2 here. Left is V2 dash. Left is
V2 dash.
Come on, divide by M1 plus M2 here. So you get 2 M1 upon M1 plus M2 into V1. And before dividing by M1 plus M2 here, you just take minus sign out. Take minus sign out, then the order will be reversed. So now it will be, if you write here minus, then order is getting reversed. M1 minus M2. Everybody.
M1 minus
Then you
M2.
are going to divide by M1 plus M2 into V2. So this gives you, come on, final velocity of second body. Everybody.
Final velocity of second body.
Fine. Something into V1 plus something into V2. Something into V1 minus something into V2. Whatever is this bracket, same is this bracket, correct? And similar to this, we find bracket over here. The only change is here M2 and here it is M1. Mind well, here it is plus and here it is
Minus.
Okay, fine. Now let us consider some of the special cases. Suppose we take M1 equals to M2. Take M1 equals to M2. M1 equals to put it here, come on. If M1 equals to M2, then this subtraction would be 0. So this part is 0. This part is 0. Put M1 equals to M2 here. So M2 plus M2, 2M2. 2M2 upon 2 into 1. 1 into V2 will be V2. So V1 dash will be equal to V2. Come on, V1 dash equals to
V2.
Fine. Now place M1 equal to M2 here. Put it here. If M1 equals to M2, this part will be 0. And put instead of M2 you put M1. So M1 plus M1, 2M1. 2M1 upon 2M1 cancels. It gives only 1. So it is 1 into V1, that is V1. So V2 dash equals to V1. V2 dash equals to
V1.
What does it mean?
Final
Initial velocity of second body is given to first body in the form of final velocity. In the form of
velocity.
and initial velocity of first body is given to second body in the form of final velocity. Correct? जो मेरा है वो तेरा है. जो मेरा है वो whatever was the initial velocity of first body, that body had given that velocity to the second body. Whatever was the initial velocity of second body, that body had given that velocity to first body. जो मेरा है वो. So you can say there is mutual exchange of velocities. Mutual exchange of
velocity.
mutual exchange of
Velocity.
because जो मेरा है वो फिर तेरा है वो mutual exchange should be there. Mutual exchange. And now M2 very much greater than M1. We assume, come on, M2 very much greater than M1. Now look, this second body is very heavy, like this. Okay, okay, and this is first body. See, it's daring. See, it's daring. This is going to collide with this. This is going to collide. I'm showing you what will happen. When M2 is very much greater than M1, you can neglect M1. You can neglect. Remember, very small values can be neglected only in addition and subtraction. Only in addition and subtraction. So neglect M1 from addition and subtraction. If you neglect M1 here, come on. Minus M2 open M2. M2 will cancel. Minus V1. Say
minus V1.
Say
minus V1.
And if you neglect M1 M1, then M2, M2 will cancel. 2v2. Say 2v2. Fine. Come on. When you neglect M1, so M1 tends to 0. So 2M1 also tends to 0. When 2M1 tends to 0, this whole part is nearly 0. And if you neglect M1 here, correct? Then minus minus plus M2 open M2 1. 1 into V2, that is V2. So V2 dash is nearly equal to V2. V2 dash is nearly equal to V2. And now further we just assume if V2 is 0, if V2 is 0, initially second body is at rest, then put V2 equal to 0 here, correct? Put it here. So V1 dash equals to minus V1. Come on, V1 dash equals to minus V1. And if you place V2 equals 0 here, then V2 dash is nearly 0. So what does it mean? That second body will remain at rest. Because its final velocity is 0. But the velocity of first body will be getting reversed. Will be getting reversed. Minus V1 means what? Opposite to V1. Opposite to V1. If V1 is this way, correct? Before collision, then after collision it will be getting bounced in backward direction. Bounced in backward direction. But this body which was at rest will remain at rest. Will remain at rest. Okay? This will not be affected. This will not be affected. This is the right way to draw this figure. In some of the books, you find such a figure. Now tell me, will this collide with this or it will get hidden? Get hidden here, When this will try to collide with this, it will be getting hidden here, okay? It will not be getting collided. It will be getting shelter. It will be getting shelter. Under the shadow of this body, it will be getting shelter over here, okay? So this is not the right way to draw this figure. This is the right way to draw the figure, okay? Now assume M1 very much greater than M2. M1, then you can neglect M2. You can neglect M2. So M2 tends to 0, so 2M2 also tends to 0. And 2M2 tends to 0, and this part is nearly 0. And if you neglect M2, then M1 will cancel 1 into V1, that is V1. So V1 dash is nearly V1. Come on, neglect M2 from here. Neglect M2 from here. Then minus M1 upon M1 is 1. 1 into V2, that is V2. So it is minus V2. Say minus 2. Neglect M2 from here. Then M1 will cancel, giving you 2V1. Giving you 2V1 minus V2. Now this is final velocity of first body. This is final velocity of second body. Now the way you took here V2 equal to 0 now, please don't take V1 equal to 0 here. Don't take V1 equal to 0 here. If you take V1 equal to 0, tell me who will collide with this? V1 equal to 0 is what here? This body is at rest. If the chasing body is at rest, then who will collide with this? Correct? So you cannot take V1 equal to 0. You cannot take V1 in any case has to be greater than V2. Then only first body while chasing can collide with the second body which is leading ahead. Leading ahead. Simple. Now we go for inelastic collision. Come on, inelastic collision. Look, you consider a block, say made up of wood, just moving with velocity v2. From behind we have one bullet which is moving with velocity v1. Come on, mass of bullet we take m1, mass of block we take m2. Now suppose this bullet collides with the block, gets inserted into the block, comes to rest, and then after whole system, bullet plus block, whole system moves together. It moves together. When it moves together, their final velocity will be same. So, final velocity of bullet also and final velocity of block also will be same. Let it be v. Let it be v. Now come on, according to law of conservation of linear momentum, initial momentum equals to final momentum. Initial momentum for bullet m1 v1 say m1 plus initial momentum of block m2 v2. What about final velocity of final momentum of bullet? Mass into velocity. Mass into, but final velocity for both bullet as well as block it is same. So it is m1 into v plus come on m2 into v. Final velocity of bullet and block is same. Now take v common. Okay, inside the bracket m1 plus m2. And now find out v. So in case of inelastic collision, remember final common velocity is m1 v1 plus m2 v2 upon m1 velocity. Come on, m1 v1 plus m2 v2 upon m1 velocity. Let's go for elastic collision in two dimensions. Elastic collision in
two dimensions.
Look. Suppose one body with mass m1 is moving with velocity v1 along positive x-axis, and we have another body, say with mass m2, lying at rest at the origin of the coordinate system. Because it is at rest, velocity of second body is initially 0. Now when this body collides with this body, and suppose the collision is elastic, then what will happen? This body after collision, suppose it moves this way, and after collision, suppose this body moves this way. The angle made by direction of momentum of first body with positive x-axis, let it be θ1. Similarly, angle made by final momentum of second body with positive x-axis I am taking as θ2. What is final momentum of first body? Come on everybody, m1 v1 dash. For second body, come on, m2 v2 dash. Resolve this vector into two mutually perpendicular components. Come on, this plus this. Say everybody, this plus this. So component of m1 v1 dash adjacent to θ1, it is m1 v1 dash cos θ1. Component of m1 v1 dash opposite to θ1, what is it? m1 v1 dash sin θ1. Similarly, this momentum also can be resolved into two mutually perpendicular components. This plus this will give you this. Component of m2 v2 dash adjacent to θ2 will be, come on, m2 v2 dash cos θ2. Component of m2 v2 dash opposite to θ2 will be m2 v2 dash sin θ2. And now when you say that momentum remains constant, momentum remains constant. Remember, it remains constant in all the directions. In all the directions. It remains constant along x-axis also, it remains constant along y-axis also. Let us first of all take it on x-axis. On x-axis, what is the momentum of first body, everybody? m1 v1. Say, second body was at rest. Any body which is at rest, it has no velocity, no momentum, no kinetic energy. So momentum of second body is initially 0. Now, in the final condition, what happens? The momentum of first body along positive x-axis, it is, come on, m1 v1 dash cos θ1, m1 v1 dash cos θ1, and momentum of second body along positive x-axis is m2 v2 dash cos θ2. Come on, m2 v2 dash cos θ2. Fine. Now this m1 v1 as it is, correct? This m1 v1 plus 0. This is initial momentum on x-axis. This is final momentum on x-axis. Now the way you have compared the momenta initial and finally on x-axis, now you just compare initial and final momentum along y-axis. Along y-axis. Come on, let us see now conservation along y-axis. This first body had total momentum along x-axis. It had no momentum along y-axis. So momentum of first body in the y-axis is 0. And second body was at rest, it had no momentum. It had no momentum in any direction, so momentum of second body is 0. And what about final condition? Finally, it so happened that momentum of first body along positive axis, it is m1 v1 dash sin θ1. Come on, m1 v1 dash. And momentum of second body along negative axis is m2 v2 dash sin θ2. Because it is along negative axis, I must write minus. This is along positive axis, this is along negative axis. So I am writing minus m2 v2 dash sin. Okay. Why I took here 0? This had momentum. This had momentum. But the total momentum was along x-axis. You know, two mutually perpendicular vectors are independent of each other. If there is a total momentum along positive x-axis, that momentum has got no component along y-axis. That's why momentum of first body along y-axis was 0 and second body was already at rest. It had no momentum in any direction, so that is also 0. And now apply conservation of kinetic energy. Conservation of kinetic energy. You can do that because you are talking about elastic collision. Okay. So initial kinetic energy should be equal to final kinetic energy. What is initial kinetic energy for first body? Come on, half m1 v1 square. Everybody, half m1 v1 square. And because the second body was initially at rest, so it had no kinetic energy. Come on, final kinetic energy of first body is half m1 v1 dash square. Final kinetic energy of second body is half m2 v2 dash square. How many equations in all you have? 1, 2 and 3 equations. How many? 3. From 3 equations, there is a standard rule in mathematics. If you want to have solution of as many quantities, if you want to have unique values of as many unknown quantities, you should have at least that many equations between them. we want here, you know what? We want, look here, final velocities of both the bodies, final velocities of both the bodies, and at the same time we want these angles also, which can determine the directions of the velocities. So in all we want 4 quantities. How many? 4. But we have only 3 equations. We have only 3 equations. There is a standard rule in mathematics. As many unknown quantities you want to find out, you should have that many equations. That many equations. Here we want to have 4 quantities, but equations are only 3. So that is not possible. So while designing any sum based upon this problem, what they will do, out of these 4, at least 1 quantity they will give you. Okay. Normally, what is known to us? What is known to us? These 2 masses are known to us, and initial velocity of first body is known to us. Then what we are supposed to find out? Final velocities of both the bodies and the directions. There is the angles of which can determine the direction. Those angles are theta 1 and theta 2. Okay. Out of these 4, 1 will be given to you, so that you can find out remaining 3 using these 3 equations. Okay. There is a very good sum, number 10. Read it. Velocity of first body 12 meter per second. Second body is at rest. Second body is at rest. So initial velocity of second body is 0. V2 equals to 0. Both the bodies have same mass. So m1 equals to m2 equals to n. And these 2 angles they are given in the figure. You see, in the figure they are given angles. Each of them is 30 degree. Theta 1 equals to theta 2 equals to 30 degree. Just put the values here. Look, m1 is n. Look here, m1 is n. V1 is 12 meter per second. So V1 is 12. Come on, this is 0. Come on, M1 is n. V1 dash as it is. Theta 1 is 30 degree. M2 is n. V2 dash as it is. Theta 2 is also 30 degree. Simplify. M into 12 as it is. Okay. Come on now. Cos 30 sin 60. Sin 60 is root 3 by 2. So m into root 3 by 2. Everybody, m into root 3 by 2. Here also m into root 3 by 2. That m into root 3 by 2 you can take common. From here left is v1 dash plus from here is v2 dash. Now m and m will be getting cancelled. Now find out v1 dash plus v2 dash. Make it substitute the equation. Transfer this 2 here. 12 2s are 24 upon root 3. 24 upon root 3. Give it equation number 1. Now on y axis, come on. 0 plus 0. 0 plus 0. And m1 is m, v1 dash as it is, theta 1 is 30 degree, m2 is m, v2 dash as it is, theta 2 is 30 degree. Fine. And now, come on, 0 equals to, come on, sin that is 1 by 2, 1 by 2 into m that is m by 2, 1 by 2 into m that is m by 2, m by 2 you can take common, correct? Inside the bracket, left from here, inside the bracket is, come on, v1 dash minus v2 dash, v1 dash minus v2 dash. Transfer this 2 here, 2 into 0, 0, 0 upon will be 0. So v1 dash minus v2 dash will be 0. Transfer this here, so v1 dash equals to v2 dash, v1 dash equals to v2 dash. Put it here. Instead of v2 dash, you write v1 dash, so v1 dash plus v1 dash, come on, 2 v1 dash. 2 v1 dash will be 24 upon root 3. 2 v1 dash equals to 24 upon root 3. Now 2 12s are 2 12s are. So v1 dash will be, come on, 12 upon root 3. Say 12 means what? 4 into 3. 12 means what? 4 into 3. 3 means what? Root 3 into root 3. So root 3 getting cancelled from numerator and denominator. Ultimately you get the answer 4 root 3 meter per second. Fine. Now whatever is the value of v1 dash, same is the value of v2 dash. So v2 dash is also 4 root 3 meter per second. They also asked that is the kinetic energy conserved? Let us see. Let us find out initial kinetic energy, let us find out final kinetic energy, then after we will compare. Okay? Check out whether they are equal or not. Come on, initial kinetic energy. Initially only first body was in motion, so only first body had kinetic energy, half m1 v1 square. Everybody, half m1 v1 square. Second body was at rest, so this kinetic energy is 0. Come on, m1 is m. What about v1? v1 you are given 12. Okay? 12 square is 144. 144 upon 2, that is 72 into m. What about final kinetic energy? In the final condition, both the bodies are in motion, so both of them have got kinetic energy half m1 v1 dash square plus half m2 v2 dash square. M1 is m, v1 dash it is 4 root 3, it's a square. Half m2 is m, v2 dash is 4 root 3, and it's a square. And now tell me 4 root 3 square. 4 square is 16, root 3 square is 3, 16 root 3 that is 48. Similarly here also 48. Come on. 1 by 2 m into 48, 1 by 2 m into 48. So m into 48 if you take common, then 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 that is 1. 1 into 48 into m, that is 48 into m. Initial kinetic energy was 72 into m. Final kinetic energy is 48 into m. This value is smaller than this, so you can say final kinetic energy is smaller than initial kinetic. When both the kinetic energies are not equal, you should say that given collision is not elastic. Is not elastic. Had they been equal, we would have said that collision is elastic. But right now they are not equal, so given collision is not elastic.